like? Is it like pretty crystallized in there, or is it kind of like a forgotten memory, or what's
My
what's
first
what's it like?
ayahuasca
Yeah,
ceremony?
uh-huh.
Oh no, I mean I remember that like yesterday. I remember it
Yeah,
like 5 minutes ago. Like,
yeah, tell us
yeah,
about it.
no, it was so intense. Um, I mean, there was such a buildup to it, right? Like, because I was on this journey to find this apprenticeship, and I keep getting
Yeah.
this message that I have to drink ayahuasca, and I don't really know what's going to happen. And there was this whole like I kept reading in this guidebook, like I kept being told, you have to find this guide, you have to find this guide. Like his name was in the guidebook, and it turns
Mm-hmm.
out he's the only guide that guided out to where Julio was, who was the
Wow.
main shaman who taught me, right? And so that's the lineage that I got, invited into, was Julio and Alberto's lineage.
Yeah.
And so, like, so there's just this buildup. And so I ended up like the guide, I ended up finding the guide, but through friends. It was like all synchronistic. Like the guide picked me up
Mm-hmm.
at the airport, right? And we got on a boat and we went out. It takes 24 hours to get out there.
Wow.
And we picked up a shaman along the way, and he seemed all right. And we went out into the forest together, and I was the only one participating. And we went out and we collected plants together, and we cooked together in the forest,
Whoa.
and we made the
Wow.
ayahuasca ourselves, the two of us. And so there's this like huge buildup. And
Wow, wow.
yeah, and then like I'm on the edge of this river, and the river's about 50 yards wide, but it's wide enough from the side to be able to see like the whole side of the forest. So I could see
Wow.
like the river to the riverbank to the lowest plants, like all the way to the trees to like the biggest trees up in the forest. And then there's like from there the sky and the moon. And there's this like little A-frame,
Mm-hmm.
thatched roof, and we were sitting on the ground on the dirt, and he just like pulls out the bottle and he whistles into it, and he pulls out this like little plastic coffee cup, and I'm just sitting there, and the guide's sitting by the side, and he just says to me like, look, I'm not going to let you like run off and die in the forest. That's all he tells me. There is no prep.
Yeah,
There is
yeah,
no
that's
setting the
why I'm
scene.
shaking my head and I'm
Dude,
like, what?
nothing. No, dude. I'm in my early 20s. He pours this massive cup. And not only that, I think it's important to mention that I didn't know this at the time, but they had put an unbelievable quantity of Toei in it, angel
Oh,
trumpet vine, which is
yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
crazy more visionary than just normal ayahuasca, and also like
Yeah.
really toxic. So I didn't know that. And so he pours
Wow.
me this cup, like probably about six ounces of like honey,
Yeah.
intense ayahuasca, like
Uh-huh.
thick, intense ayahuasca, like honey. And I drink this stuff. And I had like two really audacious thoughts. The first one was I hadn't been given enough when I had been given like so much
I
more than
regret
enough.
that one later.
Totally. Like, what did I think that for? And then the second one was like, it went in so well. And like, I didn't
Mm,
mind the flavor. It was earthy, and I felt so
yeah.
connected. I was like, why does
Wow.
anyone throw this up? Like, doesn't make any sense to me. This feels so good. I
Yeah,
felt
yeah.
so good. And I just sat there
Wow.
like the first 10 minutes, as it was nightfall, and the moon was coming out, and it was just magical to be in the forest in this incredible
Wow.
place. And then the shaman like pulls out the shakapa and starts playing the shakapa, and I hear the sound,
Uh-huh.
and I start looking around me, and material reality just gets like pulled apart like taffy. Everything becomes sacred geometry.
Yeah.
Everything becomes dense. The forest looks like it's like 20 times its size. It's right in front of me. Like, I hear every animal. The sounds turn on like a
Wow.
cacophony. It goes like 6x, 10x sound. And maybe like 30 seconds had gone by, like for real.
What
And
you
I
wow.
think to myself, like, if it doesn't get any stronger, I'll be okay. Like, that was enough right there.
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
have just
yeah.
stayed there trying to take that in. Dude, at 15 minutes, I started vomiting. And then I vomited for the next 3 to 4 hours straight. Like,
Wow.
it would go through wave after wave after wave. I I felt like reality just vanished. I was out of body. There was
Wow.
this vortex appeared, and the vortex started to suck me through it. And as I would go down into the vortex, I would just start to go insane. It'd be like my psyche was just being ripped apart, pulled apart. And then I
Wow.
heard a voice. Well, at first I had to vomit a lot, and then defecate, and then vomit, like just
Yeah,
out
yeah,
there in
yeah,
the
yeah,
jungle,
yeah,
just
yeah.
like like it was coming out all ends. I was losing it. Like I was
Yeah,
completely,
totally.
I thought I was going to die. That was not true, obviously. I was had a lot of delusional thoughts during the first phase of onset. Like I was not prepared for
Yeah.
what was about to happen. And then I just like started like I got this second of composure and I just like, what do I do? What do I do?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
heard this voice say, do the work. And I responded back, what do you mean beep, beep, beep work? Dude, like, and just into the vortex I went. Life became 50 to 100 strobe lights, all flashing at the same time. Every single piece was a recapitulation of life. I had to purge every single thing that was coming through my mind. It was every single trauma, every single negativity, every single bad thing that ever happened, everything that happened to me, everything I'd ever done, every
Yeah.
interaction, anything that didn't go right, anything, no matter as minute as small, anything as big. It was like nanosecond by nanosecond life. It didn't come in linear order. It was all life at the same
Mm.
time. And it went wave after wave after wave after wave of that, wave after wave after wave, until I was finally literally dug into the ground. Every now and then, like I said, there are these waves. And when the waves would calm down, I'd be like a little bit more calm and I'd look around. This bush next to me had turned into a boar that was criticizing my performance the whole time from outside.
Oh my
It was like
gosh.
crazy. It was like straight up talking to me. And I'm like, you're a plant. How can
Yeah,
you
yeah,
talking to
yeah.
me? And it looks at me and it
Yeah.
goes, do I look like a beep, beep, beep plant to you? And I'm like,
Yeah.
no. He goes,
Oh
this
my
is what
God.
I am. I'm just like, okay, just don't eat me.
Yeah.
Like, just don't eat me. And I look out into the forest. The forest was bursting rainbows in all directions all the time, like exploding. The
Wow.
forest was exploding light like the whole time. And
Wow,
in that
wow.
light were animals. And so these massive, like 30, 40-foot wingspan hummingbirds. They were
Wow.
jaguars. There were just birds of all different other kinds. I mean, it was wild visions, just wild, eyes wide open, eyes closed, seeing exactly the same thing. And then back down into that vortex. And then just life recapitulation, just mind stuff, purging, emotional stuff, just coming out, finding forgiveness, finding release, finding healing. And then I'm
Wow.
finally like, I'm dug into the ground. I'm covered in mud from the sweat. Like I can't even move anymore. I can't believe I've survived to that point. And I think to myself, like, I can't, there's something more in me and I don't have it in me to purge. I can't, like, I don't have enough energy.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, that's the only time the shaman came and helped me. He comes up over me and he blows mapacha smoke over me 3 times. This huge clouds of mapacha smoke. And I just feel this retch coming inside of me. And it was like hands collapsed my stomach and they start walking up my esophagus like this slowly,
Wow.
like hands just crushing me
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
inside.
yeah.
But I feel something moving. It gets lodged in my throat. I feel my throat expand. It can't come out. My jaw's unhinged. My head tilts back like this. My mouth gets about this big around. And this lump as big as a lemon comes out. That's this gelatinous physical object that is
Wow.
pulsating neon green and like yellow neon green. This light, it comes out onto the ground. I'm looking at it, eyes wide open. It's out of me. It is like I have been saved. It is like my life has
Wow.
been saved. The object starts to disintegrate in size and starts to come down into the ground, but it's still like pretty big. And
Wow.
and at that point, I get sucked into vision. The vortex goes away. This opening happens above me. This ascension takes place. I just start rising, 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 rising into this place of absolute beauty. It has every single color that I ever knew about and had never seen before, like literally
Yeah.
billions, billions of colors,
Wow.
billions of colors inside it. And there's every spirit of every person I had ever come across or met in any way, shape, or form, including just random people I passed at the supermarket or anything. I had like
Wow.
every memory was open up again to just random faces and people that I'd like passed in traffic, like never even having a real interaction with. Everyone was in there. And
Wow.
they were all like, all these angels were in there and all my guides were in there and all the plants were in there and ayahuasca were in there. And they all just said to me, like, you found your apprenticeship. You made it. This is your apprenticeship. It starts here. And I just thought to myself, like, there's no way, like, there's no way. How can this be my
Wow.
apprenticeship? Like, how do you go from that to, being able to manage like that experience? Like I couldn't even fathom. And I just realized at that moment that there was just going to be so much more to learn, and so much
Yeah.
more to go through. So that was my first ceremony. That was about 5 hours of intensity. It was amazing.
Wow, I feel like I got a contact high. Like that was amazing. That was amazing. Yeah. Just and it sounded very celebratory at the end. It sounded like
At
you
the
were
end, it was.
rewarded. Yeah, thank God, right?
It
For all
was.
the
It was
fucking work you
fantastic.
did. Yeah.
No, it was incredible. It was like
Whew.
you did it. You knew you were
Yes.
coming for your apprenticeship, but I didn't know I had to get all that out to be
Wow.
able to get in, right?
Yeah,
Like
totally.
I had to totally cleanse myself. And the Aya just came and it was like, all right, in the first night, you're gonna just all in one night, we're gonna get this done and you're
Yeah.
gonna get brought into our world. And then
Wow.
I was just in. Then I was just
Yeah.
literally in the world of ayahuasca. And that started then the apprenticeship.